All right, everybody, welcome back to another video here on Financial Friends. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me. If you want to help us on our road to 1,000 subscribers, you can do one of two things. If you're not subscribed, you can subscribe. And if you are subscribed, go ahead and smash that like button before we get into today's hot topic. I would appreciate it, and it helps us on our road to 1,000 subscribers by pushing this video to new people who have not seen it before. So that's the goal, to grow this friend group to over 1,000 people and then just keep on going from there. Thank you for your support. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into Kellogg and their split into three completely separate companies. We're going to talk why they're doing it. We're going to talk how Mondelez even plays a role in this, the food industry, and what the future of the food industry looks like after this move here by Kellogg. So the story all starts with Mondelez. Let's go ahead and jump into this article really quickly. Just over this past weekend, Mondelez acquired Cliff Bar in a $2.9 billion acquisition, doing the exact opposite of what Kellogg did in terms of building their company. Kellogg is splitting into three, and Mondelez is adding to their business. Now, the reason Mondelez is an important company is way back, and I say way back like it was a really long time ago, in around 2011, Mondelez was actually a part of Kraft. Kraft was actually the whole company, and they went ahead and spun off Mondelez, getting rid of all of the snack brands, and Kraft held on to that sort of grocery store business. This plays a role in what we're going to talk about today, because from that time, we have not seen a spin-off, a split, or really anything like that in the food industry until now. Until now, when Kellogg went ahead and announced in the morning that they would be splitting their company into three completely separate new companies. So here you can see Kellogg's will be splitting into three completely separate companies. We're going to go ahead and first just kind of break down what exactly this split is, what it is, why it matters, or why they're doing it. So Kellogg is splitting into three. We have the North American Cereal Company, Global Snacking Company, and Plant Company. Now, these are not going to be the final names of these three entities. Matter of fact, these are really just the sort of code names that we can call them for now until they come up with something better. They also don't have any leadership for any of these companies except Global Snacking Co. The current CEO of Kellogg will be holding on to this business. This is significant for a major reason we're going to get into later. But for the time being, there is no management set for the potential North American Cereal Company, and there's no management set for the Plant Company. They still have to go through and sort of get the whole corporate structure correct, figure out how they are going to move the assets and the debt and different things around within these three businesses, but these are what they have identified as the three that will be split up. Very obviously, all the cereals, all of the plant-based sort of business, and then the bulk of the business will be held in this snack category. They did also mention, for those of you who are curious, given Kellogg's long history, I'm from Michigan myself. That's where Kellogg is based, here in Battle Creek, Michigan. So a small little place in my heart. Feels bad for this, but it's going to be what's best for Kellogg, the business, long term. My assumption will be that Kellogg will probably continue to be the name of the Global Snacking Company, considering it's the biggest. That's a little sad for most people because Kellogg started as a cereal business. And so the sort of cereal portion of this business is deserving of this Kellogg's name. I don't know that it gets it. However, the CEO didn't say they had anything finalized for the names. They haven't even begun to think of those yet. And he did say that they potentially would be keeping around the Kellogg name. There's no guarantees, but given the history and the legacy of the name, they probably are going to keep it around. If I was a betting man, that is what I would bet. Now, you can very clearly see the size of these three businesses. We have an $11.4 billion snacking company with a $2.4 billion cereal company, significantly smaller, and an only $340 million plant company. Now, you're probably asking, cool, I understand the three businesses here that are going to be split off. Why? Why decide to take the classic cereals and set them apart from the new and upcoming and growing snacking company, and then the very up and coming and really not even up and coming yet, but really just building that ground floor plant-based? Why separate these three? Well, the reason is because the CEO does not believe in size for size's sake making sense. So we can very clearly see here in the middle, this is the biggest business. This is a little bit smaller. This is significantly smaller. Well, what happens when you're running a business is you want investors to be able to value your business, understand your business, understand what brands are driving the success and the earnings behind that business. And that's where things got tricky here. North American Cereal, or really the cereal portion of their business, was, for lack of a better term, not doing well. Right? It just simply was not doing as well as the snacking division was. And the plant-based division was basically taking resources from everything else that really they probably shouldn't even be focusing on because it's such a small part of their business. So you have a small part of your business, a poor part of your business, taking away financial resources, manpower, other physical resources away from what is actually driving good, successful earnings in your business, snacking products. And so they decided to split the three up. Now, the real kicker is there's kind of a secret reason why. You might assume that, they want to unleash growth, as the CEO put it, in these three separate businesses, right? They want to make sure that these businesses thrive. And it's a weighty decision because there's a history of Mr. Kellogg. And I think that is good to put out, and that is good media, good news, good attention. But in all reality, analysts don't tend to think so. They tend to think this was really done for one reason: because they want to get rid of them. They don't want these other two businesses, cereal and plant, to be weighing down the core successful business, snacking. Now, they go through some statistics here. I think this is really, really important when we talk about the future and the effect that this has on the food industry. You can see right here, I'm struggling to find it here within the chart, whatever Kellogg's triumphant sort of spin-off gains in the operating and financial focus. That's what we talked about in terms of the distraction that those other two were really being. It loses in a reduced scale and a dis-synergy and, of course, the cash cost of this breakup. So essentially what they're saying is they're not going to have as much scale because they're not going to have as many employees per business. They're not going to have as much industrial power per business, as much supply chain efficiency per business. I mean, you think the same companies or the same grocery stores, rather, that are receiving whatever cereal, Frosted Flakes, and Raisin Bran are also going to be receiving Pop-Tarts and Cheez-Its and probably Morningstar and Garden Burger. It all gets shipped right to the same place. So they're saying, look, they're going to gain operating and financial focus, so more funds, more people can focus on the same actual goal, which is growing cereal, growing plant, or growing snacking, but they're going to lose in other areas. So this is semi a wash. Now, the bigger portion of that is right here. Kellogg's snacking business is keeping 87% of the earnings before interest, taxes, and essentially amortization and depreciation. I should go over that. Earnings before interest, depreciation, and amortization and taxes. So earnings, right? Earnings. They're keeping 87% of the company's EBITDA, their earning power, which means this business right here is the business. They are keeping this business. This business doesn't change. And in all reality, they're just shedding weight. They're shedding the plant and they're shedding the cereal because that was weighing down the true successful 87% driver of the business, snacking. So they, right here, it's not that big of a deal. It's not even as big of a deal as the previous split, the one we just talked about at the beginning of this video, Kraft and Mondelez. The reason why? They're just shedding weight, just like everybody else is. And this is the effect that it has on the industry. And really, it's nothing. There really isn't any effect. The reason why Smucker, Mondelez, and General Mills, all massive within the food industry, have announced significant divestitures, or essentially, we're getting rid of these products. We no longer want to sell them. We're divesting them. We're getting them off of our sheets. We're not going to produce them anymore over the last 12 months. That said, some people are now starting to think whether maybe Campbell's Soup will kind of follow suit, get rid of their snack and meal division, and to unlock a higher valuation multiple, essentially, hey, look, investors can now understand our business better, therefore they're going to buy more stock because they understand the growth potential, where we're going with a better focus, and then they can buy up more of the stock, pushing the price to earnings and other type of multiples higher to make the business look better on paper. So, will businesses continue to just run up their size, essentially size for size sake? Probably not. The reason why? We've seen other big players in the space get rid of loose fat, of things that they don't need anymore, like cereal and plant. And obviously, these other businesses getting rid of things too. But these two stories came together at a very perfect time. We have Mondelez acquiring Cliff Bar for $2.9 billion to add to its snack bar business. And then we have Kellogg getting rid of their extras that they didn't need, Plant and North American Cereal Company. Now, again, Plant and North American Cereal Company are going to stay new businesses. They will be separate businesses. The CEO does tend to think that if any of them do, this Plant company could get gobbled up by some other big entity out there. Analysts and other people on TV were basically saying could potentially be a business that missed out on this plant-based movement and just wants to acquire a plant-based division within their company. Could be something for other businesses to look at. The North American Cereal Company, he seems to be a bit more bullish on it, assuming that if they're able to focus on this business, they might be able to grow it. I think that is very true. If they do stick with healthy alternatives and healthy cereal and they get a more clean and sleek sort of look rather than this big chunky sort of font they have going on, they might get some more box appeal and be able to attract some new customers. Now, the snacking company, still in a world where unhealthy snacks are continuing to become less popular, Nutri-Grain Bar, Cheez-It, Pop-Tart, Pringles, and their other big snack products are going to continue to sell. They just are. Kids eat them, adults eat them. You have them when you're, feeling down, when you're feeling good, when you're having a party. They're easy to pop on the table. They're easy to buy because they're everywhere. That business will continue to drive, and I think adding some new healthy alternatives and other options and new trendy products, they'll be able to focus more on that because, well, it'll just be them focusing on snacking. So, with all of that being said, I hope you were able to learn something. I hope this sheds some light on Kellogg in a way that maybe makes you understand it. We have Mondelez acquiring new products, we have Kellogg shedding old products, and the food industry, of course, relatively unaffected because they've been doing this now for years. They've been getting rid of things they didn't need for years. So this is essentially not a story within a massive story. So I hope that you learned something. I hope you will share this video with one friend who may have sent you this, maybe a friend that you used to eat cereal when you were a child with. Go ahead and send that to them. Let's grow this Financial Friends community. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Hit like if you liked the video. I guess hit dislike if you didn't, but I'd appreciate a like. Thank you very much, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.